Hope you guys are doing well. So yesterday was the famous eclipse, and what was interesting to me was that I noticed while everybody else was taking a look at the sun and the moon and this entire eclipse experience, to me what was most profound was the clouds. It was almost like as if they were dancing in unison, like they knew that something really beautiful was happening and they wanted to be a part of it. The clouds were like, it's so hard to describe. If you saw it, you know what I mean. But they didn't look like clouds. They look like just sort of like, how do you explain it? Like maybe an artist just spreading color across a piece of paper. It was just like spread. It wasn't like a cloud. It was just like these streaks, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I thought that this would be a really good time to make a video about the end of days. And we know from the Talmud, and there's a concept that in the end of days, the Messiah, as the Jews believe it, is going to come in one of two ways. When we've either reached perfection and we are due and we've earned for the Messiah to come, or that the world is in such bad chaos that it's going to look like the face of a dog. The face of a dog. What does that mean? So most people, if not everybody, take this to mean that the world will be in such a bad situation that it'll be a mess. When you think of a dog, you don't necessarily think of this cute, sweet creature that wants to react and respond to its owner, which is quite often the case, though not always, but rather you think of like vicious, crazy, wild, haphazard, just like a lack of organization, which is the way the world seems to be going nowadays. But I had an interesting thought that I wanted to share. What if we're missing the point? For example, nowadays people say that we'll never go through the experiences of the past. For example, in Nazi Germany, the Jews walked to their death. Why? Because they were a different type. They were more disciplined than us, but at the same time, they also had respect and they followed what they were told to do. They didn't have the social media where everybody watched what they wanted to believe made sense, but everybody followed the same method of news. And because they had a certain personality type, it wasn't out of the ordinary. Whereas now we think we're so brave because we'll stand up and fight and all this stuff, but that's only because we're stubborn and we all think that we're kings of the world. And maybe there's something to be said for these previous generations where people had incredible discipline and respect for the system, although it was their demise. What am I trying to say? I don't think that it's as simple as people think. When we say that the Messiah is going to come when the world looks like the face of a dog, perhaps the face of a dog looks like something different to everybody. For one person, it could be a lack of discipline. Could be the previous generation looking at us saying, wow, look at them. We look at it and we think it's war or chaos or just a change from the regular way of things that we're used to seeing. But I think this concept that the Messiah will come in one of two ways, and the second way being when the world looks like the face of a dog, meaning bad, just really at its lowest, you have to take into account that that means something different to everybody. And that's the trick, to try to figure out what is really the face of a dog. It's not just chaos. It's not just destruction. It's not just this really, really widespread lack of discipline that runs throughout our Western culture that we thought was so modernized and well-adjusted and trained. But the face of a dog means that the world is in such confusion that there's no one thing. And you take a person from one generation and you take a person from another generation, and they're both going to think that this is a mess, this is a disaster, that might be the end. And while this is encouraging, because it might mean that we're wrong and we're not going to be supplied the Messiah and the end of the world as a result of trouble, at the same time, it's a little sad, because if this is what we're expecting, it's levels. We don't just think that the way we see the world is bad, but the way the world is based on all the generations, different perspectives, all the way from the beginning until now, it's messed up. And that's something to really, really think about. I'm not even sure if I was able to express this because it's such a deep thought for me. But it's something for you guys to think about. Have a great one. Like, subscribe, comment. Please let me know what you guys think. Always interested and curious. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.